I gave up many times in my life. I did, Raina, but I didn't quit. I didn't care what happened. Nothing was going to kill the dream. I walked around for many years with my fist balled up tight, with so much rage in me, and it was only until I went and took care of myself that my fingers began to relax. Get yourself unfrozen. You do whatever you have to do to breathe. And if you hold in something so deep, if you hold it in your secrets, you're not breathing. So stop trying to save the world and save yourself. You find out what makes you happy. People are like, oh, Miss Lewis, well, how do I find my passion? What makes you smile?
Hey, this is Raina Campbell, your Chief Dream Driver, and welcome to the No Parking Podcast, where through conversations and discussions with creators like yourself, we'll find interesting approaches to help you take your dreams out of park, put them in drive, and ride towards success. Hey, Dream Drivers, welcome to episode 290 of the Dreams and Drive podcast. And today we are throwing it back, rewinding to one of my favorite episodes, episode 145 with the Jenifer Lewis. Happy holidays to everybody who's listening in. We're debuting this one again on Christmas Day. This episode was such a gift to me, a personal gift to me, not only just having Jenifer Lewis on the show back in 2018, but just being able to have her share her light, her wisdom, her knowledge with me was something that I honestly will never forget and will never take for granted. This episode was so special. And if you know anything about Jenifer Lewis, she is no holds bar. Like, she gave it to me straight and was so honest and transparent about her journey and fed so much wisdom into me about why it is so important for all of us to never give up and never quit on the road to happiness, right? And listen, the best thing that you guys could do while you're listening is to share this episode to your social media platforms, wherever you are. Please share it. Help us spread the word. This is an oldie but goodie, and I would love to see you guys posting it. Remember, we are across the board, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Dreams and Drive, and you can use that hashtag Dreams and Drive when sharing. Let's get straight to this episode with Jenifer. We're going to start it off with her giving me a little pep talk before the interview. I was on nerves, and Jenifer was like, listen, girl, let's calm down. So we're going to cut in from here.
Listen, between me and you, relax. I'll give you as much time as you need.
Okay. Ooh, girl, you just made me...
Yeah, relax. No, relax now. I'm right here.
Okay. You could probably tell that I'm nervous. So let me...
And you know what? Let me tell you something. Just breathe right now. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Go on. Just breathe.
Okay.
Now let it out and relax.
Okay.
Really, just relax yourself. And go and have some fun with Jenifer Lewis, girl. Go on.
Right,
you got your moment. Live it, girl. Live it.
All right. So I did my breathing exercises. I collected myself, and then we started. Hi, Jenifer. Welcome to this episode of Dreams and Drive. I am so excited to have you on today.
Hello, Raina Campbell. It's wonderful to be here.
Yes. So where in the world are you? Where in the USA are you?
Well, I'm in Los Angeles. In Los Angeles. Where are you?
I am right now in New Jersey, and this spring weather has just been like, I don't know if it's spring, if it's winter, if it's fall. It's just been all over the place.
Girl, we just roll how we roll. You know, I rarely pay attention to the weather report. I just get up and go. Whatever's coming is coming. Now, people will alarm you when it's some rain. So, and then what are you going to do? Well, you take an umbrella. I'm like, girl, I got to go. I'll be running through the rain.
So I love to start our interviews off, Jenifer, going back in time, because I feel like it's so important for us to think about who we were as children. So close your eyes for a bit, okay? Close your eyes. Okay. I want you to think of a conversation you had or you heard as a child that had a really big impact on how you saw the world.
My grandmother, one day I was coming home from, I think I was in the 6th grade. And there was a storm coming. You know, we lived in Tornado Alley in St. Louis, a little small town called Kinloch, Missouri. And there was a tornado on the way, and it was like a Wizard of Oz scene where the screen door just kind of flew open, and I came around the corner of the projects, and my grandmother was closing the door. And as she closed the door, she saw me, and the biggest smile. I'd never seen her smile like that.
Wow.
But it was so big, and it was just for me. It was almost like she was saying, I'm so glad the tornado didn't get you, baby, but get in this house. But none of those words were spoken. Just in her smile, it was everything. And I remember feeling so loved and so safe from the storm that I wrote a song about it, that moment in my childhood.
Do you remember it?
And I'll give you a little bit of it. The lyrics were, staring through the back screen door, I finish my spaghetti plate. I sure be glad when I'm all grown up. My Aunt Rosetta, she's always late. She's always late. My mama is the oldest of 16 kids, and I'm the baby of 7. Cat Johnny drove a big gray Cadillac, and everybody thought that he was in heaven. Oh, but my Grandma Small, she took care of me. My Grandma Small made cabbage for me. My Grandma Small, she took me in even when I didn't win.
Wow. How old were you when you made this or when you wrote this?
I was an adult when I wrote the song, but that day with the storm and the tornado coming, I think I was about 13, maybe 12, 13.
You know, it's funny. I always try to think about things like from my childhood. And there's this one thing, because I grew up in New Jersey, but my family commuted to New York all the time. I remember this one thing my mom used to always tell me: to go to New York is to go east, and to go home is west. And it's something that I took, like, you know, something so random, a memory that just stayed wherever I am. If I want to go home, I always go west. And if I want to go to New York, I always go east. So it's just like, it's so important to think about those small things that we don't think about how important it is in our lives now, but they really are.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's go to your first, you graduated from college, you are in New York City, and you are ready to hit the world running, right?
The mother of Black Hollywood. Let me tell you about that journey to New York, though.
Okay.
I don't want to, what happened is I sang my first solo in church when I was 5 years old, and the reaction of the congregation, that tsunami of love that came over the pews of the church. I stood there after I got through singing and throwing the mic around like James Brown and moving the mic around like Sarah Vaughan and doing a back bend and putting air into my lungs to hit the high notes. But when the congregation stood up and was applauding and screaming Little Jenny Lewis, I stood there with my thumb in my mouth thinking, oh, this is life. And honey, I never looked back. I was an entertainer in that moment, and I haven't stopped. Now, here's the thing. I also realized I was an alpha wolf girl. I was the leader. I was president of my class in high school. I was captain of the cheerleaders in high school. And then when I went to college, I was cast in all the theater productions. So when I got to New York, you see, I had no fear in me because I had been hailed as being special. And not that I thought I was better than everybody else. Okay, maybe I did. But no, but I had no fear in me. And I got my first Broadway show in less than 11 days after graduating from college.
How? Like, what do you think were
so,
like?
Yes. No, I landed in New York. Raina, I landed with 10,000 songs in my heart. And I also landed with the rage of 10,000 slaves. See, I had come from poverty, and I had had an abusive childhood. And I had been molested by the minister of the church, by the pastor of the church. Let's get real, honey. Let's go deep. Let's tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And that's what I want to talk about today, is your generation letting it all come to the fore. I want you guys to step up to the Me Too movement. And I want you to tell somebody if somebody touched you inappropriately. Because if you bury it inside of yourself, you will become sick, whether it be physically, mentally, or spiritually. You cannot hold that kind of stuff in. Get yourself unfrozen. You do whatever you have to do to breathe. And if you hold in something so deep, if you hold it in your secrets, you're not breathing. You may think you are, but you're not free. Because, see, there's nowhere to run and there's nowhere to hide. And that's why I became successful so quickly, because I told everybody everything.
You didn't have any fear about doing that?
Well, you know, Raina, don't ask me where I got it from, girl, but I have always had this spirit that, well, okay, let me break it down for you, baby. Let me tell you what I really had. I had a dream. I had a passion. And I was one of the lucky ones to know it at an early age. So see, in my head, I didn't care what happened. Nothing was going to kill the dream. So see, in my head, I didn't care what happened. Nothing was going to kill the dream. I found out I was bipolar. I didn't find out I was bipolar until I was in my 30s. So I acted out sexually in my 20s. Sex was my addiction. I didn't do the hard drugs. I didn't want to hurt my voice. I was drinking, smoking, and carrying on, you know, the ignorance of the 20s. But when I got to be 30, I got tired of that shit. I got tired of all of that. And I said, wait a minute, the AIDS epidemic came around, and I was like, wait a minute, all my friends are dying. Girl, I had a nervous breakdown.
That must have been
and then
so
I got
hard.
Oh, it was so hard, baby. Baby, they dropped like flies. They dropped like flies, and the government wasn't doing anything. Ronald Reagan had a gay son. He still wasn't doing anything. And then they found out it just wasn't a gay disease. Then everybody stepped up to the plate, and they still haven't done what they're supposed to do. It's still running rampant. And especially for Black women.
Yep.
Believe it or not, we are the highest statistic of AIDS cases now. What I did is I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had all that success on Broadway. I had come on out to LA, to Hollywood. I was starting to do films, but Jenifer Lewis didn't know who she was, you see. Who am I really? Clawing at the air. Where's my mama? Why wasn't I loved as a little girl? Who's gonna love me? Who's gonna save me? Who's gonna protect me? Well, guess what? Oops. That who is I have to.
Yep.
It is you that has to do the work, darling. Nobody's coming, honey. There's no knight in shining armor. It's
but
not
so
coming.
many of us believe that, right?
There's nothing outside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again.
I said so many of us are waiting for that other person or waiting for that sign, that delivery.
There's no deliverer. There's none of any of that. You have to do the work. You are living life from your perspective and from your perspective only. The only thing that there is no opposite to, there's only one thing that has no opposite. It's two words. I am.
Who are you, Jenifer?
Don't throw me on this phone. Who am I?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what I am. I'm happy. I'm happy because I did the work. Knowing who you are is being ready for whatever's coming. And knowing that you will survive. That you can get up and take care of yourself. That's knowing who you are.
You know, one of the biggest things I think I took away from your book, and it's funny because I feel like everyone who I've talked to about it, everybody has something different that they took away. But the biggest thing I think I took away was this idea of everybody was telling you were too much, right? Like, oh my God, Jenifer, you're too big, you're too this. But you said, no, that's me. And I'm not gonna dwindle my personality. I'm not going to be.
No, I wasn't. But here's the thing. I wasn't even capable. Now, I want you to hold that question because I want to go back to who I am. Because that's really made me think. Rarely does a person say, who are you, Jenifer? A better question, not for you, but for me, it's not who am I, it's what am I? And what happened to me? And what did I do about it? I think we're all the who. Because we're God's babies. We're all human beings. We're the same. Nobody's better or worse than anybody else. But what happened? And what did I do about it? And how do I feel in this moment? See, that's what's important. Who I am. Who am I right now? I'm a person that says yes. Yes to giving back. Yes to the resistance. Yes to the children. Yes to eating healthy. Getting sleep. Making a difference. Saying yes. Listening to when people like Oprah Winfrey say things like, the deeper the pain, the higher the bounce. Listening to Michelle Obama say, when they go low, we go high. Listening to Mandela, who says, what right do we have to live small? Listening to Dr. King tell me that we will make it to the promised land. Ooh, girl, that just went through me. Because the promised land is right now. The promised land is wherever you're standing right now. People talk about holy ground and Mount Sinai. No, baby, holy ground is wherever you're standing. Are you not a child of God? Whatever that is. Are you not part of the oneness of all of this that's going on? Are you not present? Are you not here? The question is are you taking care of yourself so that you can pursue happiness? You have a right to pursue happiness on this beautiful planet. Girl, this ain't no rehearsal. This is some real shit going on here. You have to love yourself so you can enjoy this experience. You find out what makes you happy. People are like, oh, Miss Lewis, well, how do I find my passion? What makes you smile? What makes you laugh? What makes you feel good?
I'm doing it right now, talking to you. I love talking to people.
There you go. There you go.
I love finding out people's stories. And it's something that I think that a lot of us are, I think especially my generation, we're told that, you know, you got to have I come from a Jamaican family, so they either wanted me to be a doctor, lawyer, or a nurse, something like that. So the idea of me going out and talking to people, getting people's stories, being a storyteller is something that I have to know. It's not about them. It's about me. And it's about what's making me happy. So there
you go, baby. Come on, baby. Come out.
That's what a lot of us are struggling with, Jenifer. And it's because we want to make, I think, you know what I think it is too? I think a lot of us are trying to make other people happy and not make ourselves happy.
Well, just remember this. Whatever you're doing, whatever decision you made, it was a choice. So you chose to grab it by the balls and to live your passion. Okay, so people say, well, Jenifer, not everybody has the strength to do that. Yes, you do. There are no excuses, honey. Every knee shall bow and every tongue will confess to the truth of their own being. There's nowhere to run. If there was, I'd have been there.
Yeah.
I broke off an engagement and ran to the tip of the motherland. I went down to Cape Town. You take yourself with you. You can't run from yourself, fool. You can't go down to the neighbor's house. You can't run. You need to confront what's going on in your own house. You have to confront it. You have to speak out if someone touches you inappropriately. Time's up, bitch. Yeah. We all have to change.
It ain't that kind of call, right?
That's right. It ain't that kind of call. I told him the pastor of my church molested me. And then when I called him, he talking about, oh, we seen you on television, Jenifer. We're so proud. I said, it ain't that kind of call. Why did you molest me? And it's something I need to correct. Somebody wrote on the internet that the pastor of my church raped me. He did not rape me. He molested me. He violated me. He tried to kiss me and feel my breath. But let me tell you, baby, you cannot weigh that kind of inappropriate behavior. Sometimes if an adult glances at a child sexually, they will feel it and it will affect them for the rest of their lives. Leave your children alone. All you family members who are taking advantage of little babies running around the house, leave those babies alone. Somebody's got to say this shit out loud, and I'm the one to do it. Stop yourself and go and get help.
You might not have heard about it, but there was an incident in Queens, I want to say about a week ago, where this beautiful 3-year-old daughter, a 3-year-old little girl, they found her. She was abused by her stepfather, and the mother had a young son too, but she said she didn't know anything that was going on. But it just astonishes me, like, your child is being, abused.
Oh, no, sweetie. No, let's stop right now.
No.
Let's stop right now. And let me get this out over the air. She knew. Everybody, let me tell you something about human beings. Don't you ever let nobody say to you, well, I didn't know. Yes, you did. And let me tell you how you knew. Because it's always a two-way street.
Yep.
You don't get to wash your hands of it. Honey, the blood's on you. I told a group of women down in Atlanta about 3 weeks ago. You know if your husband's fucking your daughter. You know if that uncle touched your cousin. We always know. You know how? Because it's a feeling. And we put those instincts away. We don't pay attention to them. We press them down inside of us. But we know, and we freeze up. We freeze up because it's the one taboo you don't talk about. And it's a generational thing too, Raina. When I told my mother I had been molested, she wasn't watching Oprah. She wasn't thinking that she had a voice. You didn't stir the pot back then. Mm-hmm. But your generation and this generation, you have no excuses. I know it's painful, but you got to do it anyway. You got to feel the fear and do it anyway. I'm not trying to have a therapy session on this phone, and I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm telling you what I did. And I know everybody doesn't have my audacity and my bodaciousness and vivaciousness, but that's why I'm here. I'm here now to tell you that it's all right to tell somebody if you've been touched inappropriately, because make no mistake, it will affect you, and it is affecting you as we speak. Mm-hmm. You can't open a door, close it, and then pretend you didn't see what you saw.
And I think
that's not the way it works.
Yep. And you saying that is inspiring so many people, because there's so many different iterations. Like, I think one of the big things in my own friend circle is this idea of men trying to say, I'm going to put you on if you do this and this, right? And there are people with dreams so big that think that's what they have to do. And I'm like, no, girl, don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it. That man is slimy.
No. Well, you heard Michelle Obama, honey. She said, wasn't nobody that cute.
Right.
For her to throw her life away. Now, you can throw your life away, but you better know that's a choice. And one day you're going to have to look in the mirror and take responsibility for it. So what are the steps? First of all, I recommend that everybody that can hear my voice right now, if you don't have a journal, go and get one. Write your feelings down. Lay your burdens down, your triumph, your pain, your glory. Put those phones down for 5 minutes. Pick up pen and paper and write it down. Save your own life. Nobody's coming to save you, honey. Nobody's going to work it out for you because they can't. And if they could, I would have already done it. I thought I could, make my daughter, she was going to be what I wanted her to be. She was going to do, not what I say do, but we think that we can make somebody else do something. No, you can't. Even if you start talking, if they didn't ask, they're not listening. So stop trying to save the world and save yourself. You get up in the morning and look in the mirror instead of standing there 2 hours putting on makeup. How about you look in your own eyes and say, I love myself? And if you don't, stand there until you do.
Welcome to an aha moment along your dream driving journey. This aha episode of Dreams and Drive is brought to you by AHA. Before you ask, what are you talking about? Please allow me to explain. Our partner for today is AHA Sparkling Water, and I want to tell you a little bit more about the brand, but we're going to be using some of these AHA moments along the way to help you understand. AHA is a bold, sparkling water with a 2-in-1 flavor combination in every kahan. So some of your flavor combinations can include blueberry and pomegranate, lime and watermelon, or peach and honey. That peach and honey does sound good because I definitely love those two flavors. And some flavors like mahango and black tea are even caffeinated with caffeine. Look for AHA anywhere you buy sparkling water and get your hands on some today. You'll probably wonder how you ever lived without it, and I know it sounds too good to be true, but it's not. There's a good chance that you'll never want to drink any other sparkling water ever again. AHA sparkling water. Can I get a AHA? It's a tough one, right? Especially if it's been so hard for you to look and face yourself. I think a lot of us are running from things. And
understand that is a mask you're putting on. There's nothing wrong with making your face up and wearing makeup. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you stand in there 2 hours, I had a niece that stayed with me for a minute, and the operative word there is a minute. Because, baby, you millennials don't play. Y'all don't like clean y'all room. Oh, honey. But, oh, no, baby, you can have these graham crackers up in the closet. Shit like that. But anyway, here's the thing. Self-care. You have to take care of yourself before you start talking about taking care of somebody else and meeting their demands. If you meet a guy, and I'm not going to try to do no dating tips on here, but if you meet a man and he starts talking about himself and he never asks about you, that's the first sign. See, if I had known this, honey, I wouldn't have had to go through so many frogs.
Mm-hmm.
I remember distinctly that one of my boyfriends, but I didn't remember it until later. He never asked me about my life on that first date. I kept asking him questions about his, but he never once said, how many sisters or brothers do you have? And if I had been paying attention, I would have realized on that first date just how disconnected he was. But see, what happens with us is we'll meet somebody and we're just so happy that somebody smiled at us. Because a lot of times nobody smiled at us when we were kids. So just those little crumbs makes us feel so happy and important that we forget. We don't even check to see if this is an asshole or that this man might be dangerous or that this man might be a con artist. I had a con artist come into my life. I wasn't paying attention. I was in the middle of getting my honorary doctorate degree and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the American Black Film Festival. I had just gotten Blackish and I wasn't paying attention. And he slithered right into my life, got money from me, and was gone with the wind. And that's a whole nother story. But I gave that story, as horrible and sickening and evil as it was, I put it on social media so that you guys could read it so it wouldn't happen to you, so that you would pay attention. But here's about Oprah when she says the deeper the pain, the higher the bounce. Guess what, Raina? I wouldn't have been able to write The Mother of Black Hollywood had I not given you guys that story.
The one about the con artist?
If I had given up the con artist story and made it public, I didn't know that it was giving me so much strength and so much courage. See, the truth, girl, they say the truth
will set you free.
It will. I can breathe now, girl. Can't nobody roll up on Jenifer Lewis. You can't roll up on me because I already told it, bitch. I told it myself. And I not only told it, but I told it to help you. Because that's who I am. I came to slay. I came to give back. I came to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. No shame in my game, Raina. Ain't no shame in my game. Yeah, I did it. But I went and got help because I wasn't living a happy life. I was depressed with bipolar disorder. I had to look in the mirror and accept the fact, Jenny, you have a mental disease. Yes, you, the great and powerful, what is that line from The Wizard of Oz? The great and powerful Jenifer Lewis is bipolar. You know how hard that was?
I can only imagine, especially because of all the stigma and especially being a Black woman.
Silly stigma. But I will tell you this. I'm so happy that I'm hearing, as I'm traveling across the country on my book tour, I'm so happy to be hearing that they are starting counseling in these churches. They've got counselors, and the community is really starting to wake up to mental illness being a major issue in the community. And I'm so happy about that.
Men and women. For men and women.
Oh, men and women. Absolutely. Absolutely, honey. This ain't no gender thing. Everybody, anybody and everybody. Because if you're not mentally ill yourself, you certainly know somebody who is.
And if we talked about it more, imagine how much more peace there would be. Just people feeling like it was okay. Because I think a lot of us sometimes just don't want to get help because we're scared of, we don't know how to. Like, I know you work with your therapist. Was it Rachel? Was her name Rachel? I feel like
Rachel, yes.
Yes. Rachel was somebody who was pivotal in your life and helping you to, encourage you to get on medication. Like, what are things that you're doing now to make sure that you're still taking care of yourself? Although
it never stops. It dissipates, and you can level off your life and be somewhere in the middle instead of the extremes of mania behavior and the lows of depression. I live in the middle now.
Okay.
I'm neutral now. My life is balanced, but it all comes with self-care, eating good food, good and healthy food, sleeping, exercising. You've got to take care of you. Why work every day and get a paycheck if you're too sick to spend it and have some fun? Come on, people, wake up to health. Why have wealth? I tell everybody, I said, I've been poor and I've been rich. Rich is better. But no, that's a line from a great movie called Being There with Peter Sellers. I always loved when that man said that. I've been poor and I've been rich. Rich is better. I went, damn. But we have to pay attention. When you walk out of your house, let's start with getting up out of bed, child. You got to lead with love. Love will take you through the day. It will, if you just lead with it. You're going into a meeting, put some love around you. Smile at people. Uplift people. We're the same, honey. Because, see, these days, and I hate to be, to say this out loud, but shit, you don't know when somebody's going to come in there with a gun and shoot the shit up. So how about you just be nice? Girl, well, you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what's going to happen in the next minute. See, I've been in a tornado and an earthquake. So, see, I live. My whole thing, I tell people, live while you live. Don't waste time wasting time. Make sure what you're doing in your day-to-day. Look, you sleep 8 of those hours. Come on. What are you going to do? The sun is going to come up every morning and set every night without making a sound. That miracle alone. So what are you going to do with it?
You know what I'm thinking about, Jenifer, right now? And I don't want this to bring up any, this might be a little bit personal, but I thought about...
Girl, go on. It ain't nothing I ain't going to talk about. Go on. I told you ain't no shame in my game. You ask anything you want.
You talked about Miguel, and I just love the character of Miguel and how much he meant to you, where he said, I want to make sure I said it right. What was that one line he used to always say to you? Jenifer,
Yes, he said to me, I used to run around New York. We were so young. We were in love. And I used to just sing on the platforms down in the subway. And I used to sing on the street and holler and scream at people, making people laugh and all that. And he would say to me, because he recognized that I was a leader, an alpha woman. And he said to me, because he had been in politics in the Dominican Republic, and he said to me one day, Jenifer, oh, I loved his accent. It was so sexy to me. He said, Jenifer, you have this great ability to get the attention of the people, but then you say nothing. Girl, then you have this great ability to get the attention of the people, but then you say nothing. I was like, damn. Well, at that age, I was basically saying, well, fuck you, because I'm a singer. I don't need to be a politician. I'm not a preacher. I'm not. But I later on in life, of course, understood what he was saying. Basically, what he was saying to me was, what are you going to do with this talent?
With your gift.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do with this gift of charisma? This personality that you have, this beautiful soul that you have. He used to say, you care so much about people. What are you going to do with it, Jenifer? And of course, I was running around all bipolar and manic and crazy at that time. A good person, yes, but I had a disease that I didn't know I had. After I went and took care of myself, and after I traveled around the world and educated myself and became political and an activist, I said, well, wait a minute now. Maybe I do have something to say. But see, I had to live first. I had to grow up. You can't just be out there in front of the people willy-nilly. You got to have something to say. And baby, I got something to say now. I tell all of y'all, and let me get it, about 5 of them, and let me get them out. 1, the elevator to success is broken. Take the stairs. Number 2, it's when you're hardest hit that you mustn't quit. I'll repeat that. It's when you are hardest hit that you mustn't quit. I gave up many times in my life. I did, Raina, but I didn't quit.
That's
and why is that?
That's so important.
And why is that? Because you got to be in it to win it. You can't lay down. You can't stay under them covers. You can't stay in them dark rooms and eat yourself to death and sleep yourself to death. Get high yourself to death. Nothing wrong with smoking a little marijuana, but you don't get to smoke it every day, all day. You're not going to have any motivation doing that shit. Didn't nobody put you on this beautiful planet for you to sit up in a room and try to kill yourself for 1,000 years, or however old you are. Some people never grow up, God bless them. And we ain't here to judge them either. It's never too late to feel good about yourself. Lena Horne said that. Number 4, there are 2 emotions. One feels good, one feels bad. Choose. You know when something feels good to you, and you know the result of going over there and doing something that's not going to make you feel good is going to have consequences. So don't be blaming somebody else for your shit. You chose that. And don't be talking about somebody did this to me. Well, what were you? What was your part in it? Why were you even around that person? So whatever's in front of you is a reflection of you. So go fix your own self and leave other people alone. Number 5, and this is the most important one.
I'm listening.
Love yourself so that love will not be a stranger when it comes.
How did that look like in your life? How did that play out in your life?
The mirror, darling. The mirror. You want to see the face of God? Look in the mirror. Because is it not you that is defining God for yourself? because you know there's 7.6 billion people in the world. So there's 7.6 billion interpretations of God. Every leaf on the tree is different, darling. Every blade of grass, every grain of sand is different. I heard somebody say there are more stars in the sky than there are grains of sand. Now go on, put that together in your head.
We can't even like, it's unimaginable, right? It's just.
And that's why you have to live your life to the fullest. Because the truth is no matter what the religion is, no matter what the books say, no matter what somebody's preaching from the pulpit, no matter what the teacher's saying in school, when you close your eyes at night, it's only you there. It's just you. You want to hear the voice of God? Then sit still and listen. Carry your ass up to a top of a mountain, or sit by a river, or under a tree. All you gotta do is walk outside. You want to see God? Go and look up to the sky. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. And then every second it changes. Oops. The miracle of life itself. You can throw it away if you want to. Talking about some boyfriend or some boy or what some man did to you. Go on, live your life and all that. Go on, give it up to all of that. See, if you love yourself, you said, how did that play out? Let me talk about that a little bit. And this is deep.
Okay.
That love yourself so love will not be a stranger. See, look at this. What you covet, what you think about, the things that you're scared of, you're going to bring that shit to yourself. You're going to bring it all to yourself. So be careful what you think about too often, and especially if you attach an emotion to it. Because you hear them say, we are what we eat. We are. We are what we think. We are. So put something in there that's good. Continuing education. Go out, read, think, laugh, love. But among all of these things, give back. Find a kid to mentor. Do something with your life. Don't just stay in that mirror with your hair and makeup and your clothes. If you can afford to buy some hair, then buy a book.
Say it again. If you could afford to buy some hair, buy a book. So true.
Put your priorities in place. In check, honey. Put your priorities in check. Now, you guys are young. It's going to be all about the look and the boy and the this and the that. But hold on to your education. Hold on to your dream. Don't let some boy break your heart and you sit up a whole year and mourn that shit. Wasting ooh, come on now. But you know what? On the other hand, the truth is nothing is wasted.
Everything's
But just know, nothing's wasted, darling. Yeah. Nothing's wasted. And all things are counted. And the reason I say that, because it's in the Snickers bar you ate when you were 3 is still in your DNA. So no, darling, there's nowhere to run, children. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. So do that difficult thing and look in the mirror. Who am I really? And what do I want to do with this beautiful life? I'm healthy. I'm young. What you going to do with it?
No one is you, and that is your power. That is a quote I love, and I think that's something that a lot of us forget. We are our power. Our stories are our power. Who we are.
And I don't know if I had this conversation with you because I've been interviewed a lot this morning. But did I say to you there's only one thing that there's no opposite to? Because that works with exactly what we're talking about. There is only one thing that there is no opposite to. I am.
That's how we got to
that. That is no. It's the whole thing of what does that look like? Because there is no I am not. Yes, you are. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about responsibility. A young journalist just like yourself. I was talking in an interview, and she said at the end, when I finally stopped talking about myself, when I took a breath, she said, "Miss Lewis, did I hear you say that you had touched bliss. I looked at the phone. I was thinking to myself, the girl was listening. She said, please tell me how you did that. And without pause or hesitation, I said to her, it was the day I looked in the mirror and took responsibility for every choice that I had made, was gonna make, and was making at that moment. It's responsibility. Because if you know the repercussions of that one thing you just did is going to bring you pain, why would you do it again? And if you do it again, then go and keep doing it until you get tired of that. Einstein said, nothing can change until something moves. Mm-hmm. Y'all laid down in front of the police barricade. I was so proud of your generation. But now you're going to have to get up, stand up, and stay up. But I'm giving you this other thing. I want you to feel your feelings before you start to move. If you're feeling frustrated, feel that. If you're feeling hope, feel that. But don't forget to feel. Because if not, you're just an empty shell running amok and clawing into the void.
And so many of us think that fighting feelings, masking how we feel is what's going to get us through. But where does that ever get anyone? Nowhere.
It is the vulnerability and the fragility of the human being that will help guide them to where they need to be. You have to give it up. I walked around for many years with my fist balled up tight, with so much rage in me. And it was only until I went and took care of myself that my fingers began to relax so that I could hold another person up if I had to. You can't save the world. Don't be trying to do that. Because if it could have been saved, I would have already saved it.
Yeah.
So let that go. You save yourself and stop trying to save other people.
But what if your mission, like, what if what you're part of, what if what you're trying to build? Because like with me, with Dreams and Drive, right? My mission is to inspire and to help people go from park to drive. Is that what you would consider?
So what you do is you just live your best life.
Okay.
And if that is if that's living your best life, then that's helping somebody else, because then they will see your light. But honey, the truth is you can't tell nobody nothing unless they ask. They ain't listening. And that's the truth. If they don't ask, then they ain't listening. Now, what you're talking about, see, you're doing a beautiful thing. You are just telling the story, as I did with the book. And they will grab, and things will jump off to them as it will, you see. Whatever their heart is looking for, then they will find it if they're willing to listen. So doing your best in the world is different from trying to save the world. So the thing is that you do your best and leave the rest. Leave it where it lay. Somebody will come pick it up who wants it, who needs it. Self-care. Self-care. Take care of you. Don't be rushing to tell somebody else some shit. They'll find it just by you being you and telling your story. See, I try not to preach. I know I sound like a preacher. I make it very clear that when I talk, this is not the truth. This is my truth. This is my story. This is my song. This is how I did it. And once again, the only right I had to write this book is because I'm happy. I have a smile on my face, and I came through the fire, and I gave it to you so that you can know that no matter what it is, I mean, how can it get worse than the past of your church molesting you? Somebody that represented God to you as a child. It can't get any worse than that. I had a knife to my throat. I talked myself out of it.
Mm-hmm.
How many, con artists on the day your mama died? Who the fuck can take that? All the love's lost. But here's the thing, and you need to know this. Once you own something, it's never lost. We never lose anything if you had it. Come on now, y'all. Go deep.
Yes.
Stay with me on this.
I feel like, yes. I'm just thinking.
You don't lose shit. You don't lose nothing. You had it, didn't you? It got on you. It served its purpose. Now it's gone. So let it go. And go on about your business. See, I'm one of these people who lose things. And one time I lost my Tiffany earrings, girl. I was so upset. But then I sat down. I really did. I sat myself down because I realized I was, very tense. And I just took deep breaths. I just sat there and said, let it go now. Come on. Because I ask you, if a 9.2 earthquake hit right now, you wouldn't be worried about those fucking earrings. Come on now.
You'd be worried about getting out. Put it in
perspective, children, and live your life. Put it in perspective and walk away. Walk away from all of that racism and all that mess and all that fighting. You stand there. Lead with love. Do what you got to do and go on home. And be with people you love. And remember, if you don't love yourself, you really don't love nobody else. You better get that through your head. It's got to be in you to see it in them. So stop lying to yourself is all I'm saying. And I know I'm talking all this stuff, and my life is not perfect, but I know some shit because I've been through it. I got out alive. I'm still here. And all I'm saying is you can still be here too. And you don't have to just be the living dead. You don't have to just be alive and barely here. You celebrate life. Find good friends. Be with good people, not sitting around gossiping and talking and being negative. And she did this and she did. Oh, stop that. Stop that. Stop being racist and judgmental and gossipy. Stop that shit. And I'm going to tell you why you should stop it. Because I assure you, it's holding you back. See all them little dreams you want? You can't even get it.
Fear of success, too. We were just talking about that in the episode before this with Therapy for Black Girls, Dr. Joy. So much of us, we think of fear of failure, but so much of us are really fearing success and holding ourselves back from that greatness.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Scared to death of it. Will do anything to sabotage it. That's why you got to start in the morning. If you lead with love, you're not going to sabotage nothing. You're going to think first. Is this good for me? Is this going to make me happy? Why am I in a job I hate? What is that about? And then the other question is, why do I hate anything? So you gotta be careful where you step when you're judging. When you're judging anything, be careful. Check yourself. And all that fear, feel it. Go on and feel it. And then do it anyway. I dare you. And let me tell you something, honey. When you hang out with Jenifer Lewis, I don't want to hear it. You will rise. You will listen to Maya Angelou, and still I rise, and you will rise, and you will rise, and you will rise. And people will say, how'd you do that? I say, bitch, I heard an interview with Jenifer Lewis with Maya.
Yes.
That's how I rise.
This has been such an awesome conversation, Jenifer. I am just over here. I feel like I've been rocking the whole time you've been talking because I've been feeling it in my bones. I've been just rocking because it's what we need to hear. And I feel like a lot of us don't.
Well, you know what, Raina? Y'all gave me so much, sweetie. I've been entertaining you guys since I was 19 years old. You know, it's all the people that listen to me sing and be funny and shake my money maker, and I had a great time. I'm one of the few who really got to do what I loved to do with my life. I don't take that for granted. I'm grateful for that. And that's why I stress, find your passion and don't let anything get in the way of that. Don't let anything get in the way of that. Not an aunt, uncle, mama, daddy, and certainly not a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
You find your passion and live your life. This is yours, a gift. I can't give you a recipe, but I can tell you this. Ooh, whatever makes you smile, go in that direction. Choose that road. It is a road less traveled. There are too many of us that are depressed and beat down. Stand your ass up and make it happen for yourself. And I'm here to tell you, you can do it. Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And you go to Jenifer Lewis for Real on Facebook, and you go to Jenifer Lewis for Real on Instagram, and tell me all about it.
And Twitter too, right?
That's right, and Twitter. And if I don't answer, don't worry about it. Here's the answer. Yes. I ain't got time to read all y'all shit, but the answer from Jenifer, the answer to every question you ask me is yes.
Well, thank you, Jenifer. This has been amazing. One last thing, because I do this to all our guests, and I want to make sure I do it with you, is our quick fire round, where I'm going to give you a prompt, and I want you to tell me one word, the first word that you think of, okay? First word. Okay. And this is going with our whole dream driving metaphor. So let's go back to like acting and improv class. All right. First word. I'm thinking of high school when I used to take improv, but you have to do the random prompts. Right. Okay. First word is park.
Park.
Mm-hmm.
Reflect.
Reverse.
Be careful.
Neutral.
Balance.
And last but not least, drive.
Sing. Sing your songs, baby.
Thank you, Jenifer. This has been amazing.
Sing your songs. Sing, sing, sing. Dance, love, laugh, and go get them, Tiger.
I know people are going to love this because I'm feeling so emotional right now, and just hearing you share your story is it's what I needed to hear today. So you may not have known that getting onto this episode or getting onto this call, but it's what I needed today.
And let me say something to you before you hang up.
Okay.
Once again, it is always a two-way street. Don't ever think for one moment that we on the other end is not listening to you also. You have served me as well as I've served you this morning. And always know that it is you that made this interview happen. And it is you that made it happen the way it happened. So, once again, it has to be in you to see it in me. Yes, I'm proud of you, too. Good for you, boo. Good for you. Well, go get him, Tiger.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, okay, Jenifer?
You too, sweetie. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure, too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, baby. Bye-bye.
All right, so that's a wrap for our Rewind episode with Jenifer Lewis. I hope that if this was your first time listening, that you were so encouraged, so inspired. And if it's not your first time listening, that you felt that message that Jenifer delivered once again. It was what I needed at the time, and it's what I needed this week and moving on from this week, heading into the new year. I wanted this to be an episode that you guys did not forget about. So thank you for tuning in again. As always, if you enjoy this episode, make sure that you're subscribed so that you get notifications every time we have a new episode. So wherever you're listening, hit that subscribe button. And then if you want to join our email newsletter community, The Keys, and get weekly emails from me, just sign up at www.dreamsanddrive.com/join. That's www.dreamsanddrive.com/join. And you can find us across social media at Dreams and Drive. In the new year, I plan on making sure that our email, our Instagram, our social media is so much more robust, so much more popping. So please make sure that you're following us and tell other people to follow us as well. Share this episode if you loved it. Share it wherever you're listening, especially Instagram stories. I love to see people reposting there. I always try to go in and engage back with you guys because I appreciate the love so much. Dreams and Drive is heading into its 6th year. Can you believe that? I really can't, guys. So you guys got to stay tuned with me. We're heading into 2022. I can't wait to hear more from you, and I can't wait to continue to give you that weekly motivation to never put your dreams in park and always be moving towards drive. Keep dreaming, keep driving, and we'll chat again in episode 291.